All right, so last time we talked about the stand-up and squashed mantis. Now we are going to talk about its current incarnation now as the flourless Rougarou. So to sum it all up, after 18 years of being a stand-up, Cedar Point finally decided to convert this thing into the floorless coaster called Rougarou. And in which, so I basically have the pleasure of riding both the bad stand-up version and this current floorless version. But now the question to be answered here, was this a real improvement over its previous incarnation? Well, to answer that, let's find out and go ahead and take a ride. So there's the sign. Still use the same basic frame as the original, but it's transformed. And now let's see what the trains look like. Yes, finally they got rid of those old crushing stand-up trains in favor of sit-down floorless coasters. Now I can finally breathe a sigh of relief and actually sit down on a roller coaster like what aka what it should have been in the first place. Because at last I can finally sit down at long last I can finally sit down at peace on this thing. So the color scheme is different. Orange track with like teal or bluish supports. And yet it still maintains the same basic ride as its predecessor. Whoa! And wait. Let's back up for a second, alright? What was that earlier on the drop? Oh, no! 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 Even though it's turned off and it doesn't use it anymore, it's still got that B&M first drop trim brake. A B&M first drop trim brake? Oh, you kidding me? I swear I'll get you. Oh. Thank gosh that they don't use that thing. They don't. Sorry, I apologize, but it just outrages me whenever I see a coaster from one of the best manufacturers in the business get a trim brake right there. And the only inclined loop ever on a floorless coaster. Well, that was a technicality because this used to be one of those smashing, those crushing stand-ups. And also good on upgrading the braking technology. And now that we've taken a ride on it, there's that question to answer. Is it an improvement? Yes, it's a definite improvement over its predecessor. Now I don't have to worry about having to stand up on that bicycle seat torture contraption known as Mantis. Well, that's definitely a huge win for me. Now I can finally ride more comfortably again on this. I can finally appreciate the layout for what it is instead of having to worry about how I'll get smacked around by the bicycle seat on Mantis. Like, yes, finally. Like, yes, finally, some improvements. Let's go. However, ultimately, while personally I don't find it that bad compared to all the other coasters at Cedar Point, I still say this is meh, okay, compared to just about every other old school B&M sit down in existence. Because while I admit there are some good ones out there, but and they're definitely standout attractions, but however, this one, because it's in a park filled with so many other coasters, it just makes this a filler ride that's pretty much nothing too special. So, albeit, well, so ultimately, I'd say still ride it, but however, ultimately, I'd say still ride it, as this is a great sit-down looping coaster, great looping coaster by itself, now that it finally has the sit-down trains it's so desperately needed. However, don't expect it to be your favorite at Cedar Point, because there are like, 16 other big coasters in the same park at once? So, yeah, ultimately, this coaster, while it is a pretty great attraction all by itself, as you can expect from every coaster that Bully Jared Mabillard's ever made, however, this isn't anything worth riding home about when you talk about Cedar Point. You just want to talk about some of the truly great coasters that I've already covered, like Steel Vengeance, Millennium Force, Maverick, and even Gatekeeper. And Rougarou, definitely do like how it's like literally part of it is over the water, and how the support structures for the lift, hill, and drop interact with that of another coaster in the same park. But however, ultimately, compared to all the other coasters at Cedar Point, this is just sort of but however, this coaster, it ultimately pretty much has just about but however, ultimately, when you go on the other great coasters at Cedar Point, this one, while it does stack up pretty decently, it's still just a filler coaster that is pretty much just there. Not a standout coaster or anything. And so, yes, Rougarou is definitely an improvement, but however, it's still just meh compared to some of the other great big coasters at Cedar Point, because Cedar Point just does crazy big coasters. And this is just there. And this is Coastercade out. And also, any relatives of Mantis, don't try anything with me. Because if that's what I can, because yeah, relatives of Mantis, if that's what I could do to Mantis, just imagine what I'll do to any of the other bad coasters I have to come across. So yeah, relatives of Mantis, don't mess with me, Coastercade. In which, yeah, good luck even finding me here. And alright, this is truly it for now.